Where's my bourbon sour?
Oh, you must think I'm Kareem. I'm Jamal. He stiff you in your drinks, too? He fired. Kareem, where's this woman's drink?
Thomas Jefferson Johnson is no ordinary con man.
Take the damn money. Take the watch, please.
You know this goes against my every principle.
There is only one place for people like him.
I want to tell y'all about a town where the streets are paved with gold.
You mean Las Vegas?
No, not Las Vegas.
He's talking about Washington, D.C.
I am running for Congress.
Now, Thomas Johnson Con Man is Thomas Johnson Congressman.
Read my lips!
We have a new member joining us today, the distinguished gentleman from Florida.
Paul Zickhauser, American Tobacco Council.
Paul, I'm going to be extremely frank with you. That is, if you're interested in fundraising.
Well, I'm very flattered, Mr. Chairman.
Dick.
Well, I'm very flattered, Mr. Dick.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chairman Dick.
No, Dick, just Dick.
Oh, just Dick, just plain old Dick.
We feel that the semi-automatic weapons gotten a bad rap. Really, they're just guns for the ordinary sportsman.
Then like a nice warm Uzi. What's that heart attack?
Hollywood Pictures presents Eddie Murphy.
And I think it is wrong when students have to stay up late at night and miss all the good shows, doing homework, then get up early in the morning and go to school. This sort of thing just is not fair.
He's going to do to Congress what Congress has been doing to you.
I got a sprinkler too now. Back all right, then.
The distinguished gentleman.
Aren't you going to vote?
Is that what that means? You know, all this time I thought that meant was time for Final Jeopardy or something.
So really the most notable thing about this movie is that this is the first movie that Eddie Murphy did outside of Paramount, because for 10 years he was mostly doing movies for that studio. He did movies like the 48 Hours movies, the Beverly Hills Cop movies, Trading Places, The Golden Child, Harlem Nights, Eddie Murphy Raw, Best Defense, Coming to America, and recently he had done Boomerang. So he appears in this movie by Disney, basically, and someone who works for the New York Times, Bernie Weinrob, basically said that Murphy wanted to move beyond the tepid material he had been given by Paramount, and the writer of this, Marty Kaplan, was actually a Washington insider. He wrote a lot of speeches for Walter Mondale when he was vice president. And basically he said, I feel like I've come close to winning the jackpot. And oh, if only this movie felt like you won the jackpot. This movie's more like getting 2 things out of 3 on a lottery ticket and winning like $20 or something. I mean, bottom line, the movie, it's a good movie, not a great movie. This is a movie that has a good concept to it, and an idea for a movie that I think they should have went more for a heavier push on the comedy. Like, be really biting satire. Don't just go for the easy jokes you can make, because there's a lot of jokes in here that are really tame. They're really tame. Like, you can watch an episode of Murphy Brown, and there'll be much more risque jokes on that series than there was in this movie. I mean, sometimes the jokes do work, but you're just waiting for the jokes to work and waiting for the punchline, and that really is very few and far between in this movie. Plus, the trailer makes you think it's a screwball comedy, like everything's going to happen so quickly, but it moves a lot slower than you would believe it would, judging by that preview we just saw. I mean, it moves a lot slower. This is not a long movie at all. This is only a movie about 2 hours long, honestly, but there are so many dull moments in here that don't really lead to anything of worth. It's not a bad movie. It's a disappointment mostly considering what it could be. Eddie Murphy is a politician doing to Congress what Congress had been doing to you, and yet the movie never lives up to that potential. There are some moments in here that do work, but and like I said, Eddie Murphy's, I mean, I haven't said this yet, but Eddie Murphy I think is perfectly fine here. They got a good cast overall in this movie, but it just never lives up to the potential that premise and that trailer give you. It felt like a movie that could have had something really good if they actually went all in, but this felt like a movie that they were just trying to make safe and marketable so it could make some money at the box office and then just go away, but which I guess it kind of did, but it's not one that I usually want to watch over and over again. It's one of those Eddie Murphy movies that I just think it's just okay, but it definitely could have been a whole lot better. So, that's The Distinguished Gentleman. Let's go ahead and move on to the second movie, which is a movie you probably never heard of, but you've definitely seen the people that are involved in it. It's Steve Odekirk and Jim Carrey starring in High Strung.
sir. How are you today?
What are you selling?
Well, it's not so much what I'm selling, sir, as it is what I have to offer.
Oh, what do you have to offer that just happens to cost money?
Please turn this down, little. Turn down the music!
I'll tell you, you gotta relax. Get away. Take a vacation. Please, I hate vacations. Even if you have a good time, the second you get back, everybody bugs you. Dude, you have a good time? What would you do? Keep taking pictures? It's a nightmare.
Marv?
Did that scare you?
I told you! I'm fine!
Okay, you know what? Truth be told, I think a lot of us could actually relate to this guy. The premise of this movie is pretty simple. Steve Odekirk plays an uptight children's author who rarely leaves his house, eats only cereal, and is irritated by everything around him. Which, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. And Jim Carrey plays the devil. Yeah, I'd never even heard of this movie until I looked it up. But of course, I don't need to talk about Jim Carrey. We all know who Jim Carrey is. But Steve Odekirk, you probably don't know, but you've definitely seen his work before. This is the guy that wrote for Jimmy Neutron. He directed Barnyard. He directed Kung Pao Went to the Fist. He directed Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls. He wrote Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. He's written a lot of movies that you are very familiar with. And you also see a cast in here that includes Tom Wilson from Back to the Future, Denise Crosby from the Star Trek: The Next Generation, Fred Willard. You see a young Kirsten Dunst in this movie. I've never seen this movie before, but judging by what I see here, I kind of want to see it for just how crazy this looks. And somewhat you can relate to a lot of this. Like, I think a lot of cynical people can definitely relate to this movie. I know I can be very cynical at times. I try my best to be nice to people as much as I can, but I can be a little cynical sometimes, and I can definitely relate to this guy here. So, I mean, I do kind of want to see this movie. I mean, this is a movie that it's apparently got a good, strong cult fan base, and you can watch it online for free on YouTube. So, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll check it out. Yeah. Like I said, I never heard of this movie until I did the research here. High strung.
You ever served in an infantry unit, son?
No, sir.
Ever served in a forward area?
No, sir.
Ever put your life in another man's hands, asked him to put his life in yours?
No, sir.
We follow orders, son. We follow orders or people die. It's that simple. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Are we clear?
Crystal.
All those having business with this General Court Martial, stand forward and you shall be heard.
The facts of the case are these. On midnight of September 6th, the accused entered the barracks room of their platoon mate. They woke him up, tied his arms and legs with tape, forced a rag into his throat. A few minutes later, a chemical reaction caused his lungs to begin bleeding. He drowned in his own blood and was pronounced dead at 37 minutes past midnight.
You think Santiago was murdered?
Private Santiago is dead, and that is a tragedy. But he is dead because he had no code. He is dead because he had no honor. And God was watching.
How do you feel about that theory? Sounds good to me. I'll knock it all down to involuntary manslaughter.
No deal. We're going to court.
No, you're not.
Why not?
Because you'll lose. You want to investigate me? Roll the dice and take your chances. I eat breakfast 300 yards from 4,000 Cubans who are trained to kill me. So don't think for 1 second you can come down here, flash a badge, and make me nervous.
Your men follow orders, people die.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth. Son, we live in a world that has walls, and those walls have to be guarded by men with guns. Who's gonna do it? You?
But if this case is handled in the same fast food, slick-ass, Persian bazaar manner of which you seem to handle everything else, then something's gonna get missed.
In the heart of the nation's capital, in a courthouse of the United States government, one man will stop at nothing to keep his honor, and one will stop at nothing to find the truth.
So like I said, this is Aaron Sorkin's A Few Good Men, based off of the play that he wrote. And this was actually the first motion picture he'd ever written. And this was the thing that got him started in the world of in Hollywood, like in films and television. This was the movie that branched him out. And sadly, he didn't get nominated for writing this. He did not get a Best Screenplay nomination. It would take him many years, almost 20 years later, to actually win an Oscar for that. And I think Aaron Sorkin is one of the smartest writers out there. And this movie pretty much shows you why his writing is so good. This movie is a great, great film. Great cast: Tom Cruise, Demi Moore, Jack Nicholson, the three leads there. But you also have people like Kevin Bacon. You see Kiefer Sutherland in there, Kevin Pollak, J.T. Walsh, Cuba Gooding Jr. Just a phenomenal cast involved in this movie. And it's just a great courtroom thriller. I mean, it's a great not even a thriller. Toy boat. Courtroom drama. That's really what it is. And it shows how much Rob Reiner has involved as a director, because he had just done Misery before this, and it shows how he can do these other genres and do it pretty well. But the writing in here is really top notch. I mean, actually, when this movie came out, a lot of people were very mixed about it, especially somebody like Roger Ebert. And Roger Ebert's usually very easy to please, but he wasn't as enthusiastic about this movie, basically saying that he thought the major flaw of the movie was them revealing the courtroom strategy to the audience before the climactic scene between Cruise and Nicholson, saying that in many ways this is a good film with the potential to be even better than that, but the flaws are mostly at the script level. The film doesn't make it work, doesn't allow us to figure out things for ourselves, is afraid we'll miss things if they're not spelled out. Honestly, I think he's a little bit over-exaggerating, because I think the script does a pretty good job of... Granted, maybe it is simplifying it a little bit, but you gotta... But in a way, it kind of works as a crowd is for the people who are not as smart as the writing of Sorkin Sorkin's work usually is, because Aaron Sorkin usually is very smart when it comes to writing his material, and some of his dialogue does get probably wouldn't work for the regular mainstream people. So I get where he's going for it, but I think Sorkin made it work here enough. I mean, the idea of showing the courtroom strategy to the audience, I think, is very good, especially for people who don't really have a good idea of courtroom knowledge, and the only thing they know about courtrooms is when they watch something like The People's Court, which was a big show back then, and still kind of is, except then he had Judge Wapner instead of now I can't remember her name now, Marilyn Milan, and then you also have Judge Judy, but I think it works here because I think they do a pretty good job of they simplify it, but they don't dumb it down enough where people can really get confused by it. I think they did much better of a job than I think Ebert makes it out to be. And the writing and the acting overall is just fantastic. That courtroom scene where Tom Cruise is just eyeing in on Jack Nicholson and trying to get him to admit what he did, and try to get him to tell the truth. And has one of the the great line, "You can't handle the truth," and Jack Nicholson just going off on him, and it's just such great acting overall. And Cruise and Nicholson, these two really have to stand next to each other. Like Tom Cruise really needs to keep up with Jack Nicholson if he's going to make a scene work, and he really does a good job here. I think this is the movie this is one of those movies that really shows that, you know, Tom Cruise is not just the flavor of the month type of actor. He's not just doing stuff like Top Gun or Days of Thunder. In fact, another review that I saw for this actually said that pretty much that Sorkin took the opposite approach of what Top Gun was, because in Top Gun, when he plays Maverick, he's a hotshot military underachiever who makes mistakes because he's trying to outperform his father, and when Maverick has to rein in the discipline, Cruise's character, Daniel Kaffee, I think it is, needs to let it go, finally see what he can do. And the film overall does a pretty good job of examining that. Like I said, the casting overall is great in this. The writing in this is top-notch. This is just one of the great courtroom movies ever made. A Few Good Men, man. I mean, what more can you say about this movie that hasn't already been said? Terrific film. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor, man. Go out and see it. So, that's A Few Good Men. Let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Humbug. He was the greediest man alive.
It's Ebenezer Scrooge.
Until the night he met someone extraordinary.
Hello.
The Muppet Christmas Carol.
I'll drink to Mr. Scrooge, even though he is odious, stingy, and badly dressed.
Humbug.
Oh, there goes Mr. Humbug. There goes Mr. Grin.
Do you think it's safe for us to be up here?
If they gave a prize for being mean, the winner would be him.
Yes, Mr. Cratchit.
If you please, Mr. Scrooge, the bookkeeping staff would like to have an extra shovel full of coal for the fire.
Such a fool.
How would the bookkeepers like to be suddenly...
Unemployed! Leeway! Oi! This is my island in this
It's Charles Dickens' classic tale,
Oh!
as only the Muppets can tell it.
It's good to be heckling again.
It's good to be doing anything again.
Filled with holiday warmth
Hey, light the lamp, not the rat, light the lamp, not the rat!
and Christmas spirit.
Jacob Marley.
Oh, that's scary stuff. Should we be worried about the kids in the audience?
No, it's all right. This is culture.
This is the movie to see, to share, to cherish with someone you love.
Thank you for making me a part of this.
Walt Disney Pictures presents, from Jim Henson Productions, The Muppet Christmas Carol.
God bless us, everyone.
Whatever.
So yeah, you don't really usually see a Christmas movie opening after Thanksgiving. I mean, if you want your Christmas movie to do very well during the holiday season, because the holiday season is usually the time to go to the movies. I mean, and Christmas movies usually do very well largely before Thanksgiving. Like, if you open up the week after Halloween, or maybe 2 weeks after Halloween, then you're pretty set for the rest of the holiday season. I mean, Elf and the Polar Express are perfect examples of movies that did that. There's been a couple of examples where some of them have opened on after Thanksgiving, like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation opened the week after Thanksgiving. Or, you can usually make the most money when you go open a movie like a week after Halloween or on Thanksgiving weekend, and then watch the money roll in as the holidays go along. This opened on December 11th, which is really, really odd for a number of reasons. I guess because Disney had Aladdin and they thought that was where most of the money was going to come from this holiday season. They decided, you know what, we're comfortable enough to put this movie in theaters a couple weeks after Thanksgiving. We're just going to have these 2 weeks before Christmas, and then we'll be set because Aladdin will be out. And keep in mind, this was the first Muppet movie released by Disney after they bought Jim Henson's production company. And this was also the first movie made without Jim Henson involved. And again, one of the other things that you have to note about this movie is that there aren't any celebrity cameos in this like there were in the last couple of movies. Like, this is one of the couple of movies that they did with Disney where they don't have there's a lot of major stars except for one in this case, which is Michael Caine. The movie didn't do well at the box office, kind of because of the fact that it opened 2 weeks before Christmas. I think it only ended up making like $27 million, which is not very good for a kids' film around that time. But luckily, the film still has found a life through television, DVD, VHS, Blu-ray. I mean, this year it's celebrating its 30th anniversary, and you can really see why. I mean, this movie really is pretty good. Like, it still holds up over 30 years later. I did like a lot of this movie. I think Michael Caine does a very good job as Ebenezer Scrooge, and I like his interactions with the Muppet characters. It's so weirdly enjoyable when you look at the way he's looking at them. Like, he's not looking at them as different people. He's having interactions with these characters like they're really there, and you've got these really over the top mannerisms that he's having when he's talking to these people, especially the Ghost of Christmas Present, which leads to a lot of funny moments. I think he was in on and I'm pretty sure he was in on the joke all along. I mean, this guy did Jaws: The Revenge. I mean, this movie is like Citizen Kane compared to that one. But the songs overall are really catchy. There's nothing really all that memorable to them except for the song that got cut, which was and now I can't remember the name of that one. I'm having trouble remembering a lot of names today. When Love Is Gone, which there's a really interesting history behind that song not being in there. So what happened was the song was originally cut from the theatrical edition of the movie when Jeffrey Katzenberg thought the song would not appeal to younger viewers. Which, if you know Jeffrey Katzenberger's various decisions he made, he may have helped save Disney's animation studio back then, but he was also, he did not make the best decisions. Like, I talked about when The Little Mermaid came out, he wanted to cut Part of Your World because he didn't think the song was working. And then later on down the road, when they were pitching The Lion King and Pocahontas, he was selling Pocahontas as the next West Side Story. It was going to be a big hit, and The Lion King was going to be this experiment, and he didn't think people were going to see it. So Katzenberger did a lot for Disney, but he was not right always. And I guess you could kind of say the same thing with Michael Eisner, especially in his later years. But the song was only played during the end credits, and the director Brian Henson, who is of course Jim Henson's son, I think. Let me see. Yeah, son. Okay, I'm not going to cut off for that one. But so what happened was it's missing on several copies of the movie, but there are some versions of it where it is available on some DVDs. I think it's available on the VHS, on the Laserdisc. Both the 2002 and the 2005 versions on DVD have that version, but they don't have. It's only in the full screen version of the movie, not in the widescreen version, which cuts like 4 minutes out of the movie because the full screen version is 90 minutes, the widescreen version is 86 minutes. The 2012, and then when it came out on Blu-ray, it does not include the song, but the digital download release of the film does as a bonus feature. And just this year at the D23 Expo, they finally got the film to be put back intact. It's going to be on the new version of the movie when it gets re-released on Disney Plus, which is on December 11th, I think they said, which will be the 30th anniversary of when this movie came out. And I mean, overall, the movie is really good. I like how the story manages to stick with the original take of the story. It works really well. It's not played down so much that it's not dumbed down as much, but little kids aren't frightened by it, by some of the darker moments, and that both them and adults will enjoy this movie a lot. It reminds me a lot of the 2004 Christmas Carol the musical, which is a very underrated adaptation. I love A Christmas Carol, I think it's one of the great Christmas stories, and I always look forward to every single adaptation that comes out of it. And this one doesn't rank up there with the best of the adaptations, but it is still a very enjoyable movie. It's a fun, enjoyable movie. Michael Caine is clearly having the time of his life with this. The Muppets are done very well here, especially with this being the first project after Henson's death. I do admit that the kids, I think, would enjoy this more as it would serve as the greatest introduction to not just The Christmas Carol, but also to the Muppets. Even adults like myself who grew up with the Muppets or the Muppet Babies, it still has a nostalgic feel for me, despite a lot of its flaws. It's a good Christmas movie, not one of the best takes of the story, but it's one I definitely like to at least watch it once every year. So I might have just flipped you off there for a second, but bottom line, Muppet Christmas Carol, I enjoyed it a lot. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie. That is Passion Fish.
2 Academy Awards.
What happened to my legs?
Car accident. We read all about your tragedy.
Passion Fish.
So you have Mary McDonnell playing the soap opera star who was just paralyzed after being in a car accident with a taxi. She's forced to return to her family home and rely under a series of nurses, forcing each of them out until one, played by Alfre Woodard, kind of teaches her makes her change her outlook on life. And I say this because I haven't seen this movie. I've heard about it. I know that this movie was nominated for an Oscar for Mary McDonnell and also John Sayles, the writer of this. John Sayles, if you don't remember, he's the guy that wrote stuff like City of Hope. He also directed 8 Men Out, The Secret of Roan Irish, Lone Star, Silver City, various movies. And like I said, I haven't seen the movie, so I can't really comment on it too much, but it does look like a pretty decent movie overall. You got 2 really good actresses in here, Mary McDonnell, Alfre Woodard. Also in here, Vondie Curtis Hall, David Strathairn, Nora Dunn, Angela Bassett, Sheila Kelly. Just a great cast overall. An overall pretty solid story, but from this trailer, I mean. But, it could be something pretty good. I mean, I haven't seen it, but maybe one day I'll definitely check it out. And I haven't seen this last movie either, so we'll be real quick on this one. It's Night and Day.
Elles n'aimaient pas rester seules dans leur petit appartement. Il faisait trop chaud. Dehors, les nuits étaient plus fraîches. Fais attention à toi. Parfois, j'en vois toutes les couleurs. Je n'ai pas peur. Il ne peut rien m'arriver. Et c'était vrai. Il ne lui arrivait rien. Le jour, il me raconte sa nuit. Et moi, la nuit, j'erre dans Paris.
So the premise is that this couple, Jack and Julie, live together in Paris. They're a couple who are so in love with one another, they forget the rest of the world even exists. Jack works as a taxi driver by night so he can be with Julie in the day. One day he introduces Julie to this guy, Joseph, who is also a taxi driver by day, and those two end up falling in love and have an affair afterwards. So, kind of in a way, it reminds me a little bit of Midnight in Paris, except not quite to the extreme level, because these two people, because at least one of these people really loves the feel of the city of Paris. I mean, you can see it in that little clip there, but I don't know too much more about this movie. It probably is not like that whatsoever, but looks nice. I mean, I'd like to visit Paris one day. I think Midnight in Paris really made me want to see Paris, France. I mean, the way that movie was made, I think that movie really made me convinced that I have to see Paris one day before I die. But but we'll save that more of that when we get to Midnight in Paris eventually. But that's pretty much all I got for you on this one, Night and Day. Like I said, I haven't seen it. I can't really comment on it too much. So, Night and Day.
Daniel McCormick loved living on the edge.
If she comes with a warranty, I'll take her.
He wasn't afraid to face anything.
Helen, will you marry me?
Except the woman he loved.
I couldn't get the words past my throat.
But when he thought fate had taken her away...
Harry, I can't watch Helen die. I want to sleep for a year.
He took the chance of a lifetime.
Freeze a human being.
He never imagined where it would take him.
It's cold. You think he's dead?
So what you're telling me is that he was lost, misplaced for 50 years.
Mom, I'm not making this up.
So you fellas do this a lot? Mess with classified military experiments?
No, sir. This is the first time. It's called television.
What the heck happened in the last 50 years? The FBI is on their way. Something's going on here.
I know.
Helen was in an accident, but she's alive.
Mel Gibson.
It's a matter of life and death.
Forever young.
So you can definitely tell that this movie has its heart in the right place, and you can see that Mel Gibson clearly is trying to show that he can do dramatic acting in a movie like this. I mean, he's proven to do it before this movie came out, and I think there's a lot of good in this movie, but overall, the movie itself kind of falls into the sappy category. It feels very generic, feels like very cliched romantic drama type of feeling that you get when you watch this movie. And like I said, it has a great concept to it. This idea of this guy being stuck frozen for 53 years, and then comes back and sees this world around him, and has to go back and see this to try to find this girl that he wanted to marry, but he thought was dead by this point. And it's a good concept, just a bad, I should take that back. Not a bad execution, just an execution that didn't quite work out so well. I think they tried it a little too safe on here. I think they were a little too, like I said, safe and marketable on this one. You can see that there is effort in here. Mel Gibson clearly is trying his best here, and I think he does a pretty good job in here. You also have Elijah Wood in here, Jamie Lee Curtis. I just think the overall, and the way the movie ends up, just doesn't really work out so well in the end. I really felt like this was a movie that could have been something really special, but it just didn't end up doing that. I felt like they were trying to go for this was kind of an Oscar baitish type of role for Gibson, and I mean, we've seen him in much better movies than this. I think this is a movie where he's trying his best, but the material he's given just isn't working out for him, and overall, it kind of makes the movie just okay. It's not great, it's not bad, it's just an okay movie. So that's Forever Young. Let's go ahead and move on to the next movie that we have here, and that is Robin Williams and Barry Levinson's Toys.
Barry Levinson, the Academy Award-winning director of Rain Man. And Robin Williams, the star of Dead Poets Society.
I'm in the mood for smoked chicken. How about you?
Comes the story of a man who makes jokes.
I'm Leslie Zebo.
Makes love.
I like you.
Well, I like you too. I think love is wonderful.
And makes toys.
How do you feel?
Woozy.
That's what we'll call it, the woozy helmet.
This is a little uncomfortable, though.
Well, it's supposed to go in your ear.
Oh.
And a man who makes war.
Sit down, Leslie.
I don't understand why Daddy let Uncle Leland take over Zebo toys.
I'm moving with the idea of putting in some war toys.
You never made war toys at Zebo.
I'm going to need that much more space.
General.
Now, only one man is courageous enough and outrageous enough to find a way to fight back.
The future is anarchy.
Let's wind up the troops.
A most unlikely hero in the most unlikely battle that ever saved the world. 20th Century Fox presents an extraordinary motion picture. Robin Williams in a Barry Levinson film.
So this is Paris.
Toys!
Make believe, not.
So I kind of feel like this was Barry Levinson's passion project. Like, this was something he wanted to do, but he wanted to wait until his street cred was more acceptable that he could do something like this. And he had already established his name at this point. He was a very good director with stuff like Diner, The Natural, Young Sherlock Holmes, Good Morning Vietnam, Rain Man, Avalon, Bugsy. But, I don't know, this movie, I don't hate this movie like everybody else does, but I can definitely see why a lot of people, when this movie came out, really dismantle it, because it's very confusing. The story doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and the characters aren't really all that written well, especially Robin Williams, who's giving his best in this. I mean, this movie, in a way, it kind of reminds me of Forever Young, kind of. You have the lead actor giving his all, but he doesn't have a good enough script to work with here. It's a shame, too, because the movie looks so incredible. Those visuals in this movie look so amazing, and it's just like, you wish that they could have been used for something in a really good movie. With this, it's a nice, stylish-looking movie. I just think it doesn't really have a good idea of what kind of a movie it wanted to be. It felt like a movie that had so much ambition going into it, everywhere else except for the script. And this is what the end result is by the time we get done with it. It's just like, it's a great-looking movie, just a really bad script and not very good characters to work with, it's unfortunate, too, because Barry Levinson was on a roll at this point. He hadn't made a really bad movie, and even his worst movies that he made, like Tin Men, it wasn't really a bad movie. It just wasn't as good as his other works. But this is the first one where I really think he missed the ball on it big time. And for Robin Williams, too, this was a big misfire for him. And it's a shame because this movie has so much promise, and like I said, the visuals look so impressive. It just doesn't have anything to go with it on story or character-wise. It's just kind of there. It's just nothing really all that exciting about it, which is a shame because, like I said, the ambition is there, just not the execution. And that's pretty much all I got to say about Toys. It's kind of like Forever Young in a way. So much potential there. You see it in brief flashes, but there's just nothing there in the end. So, on to the next movie. Steve Martin and Deborah Winger starring in Leap of Faith.
Just off the main highway, at a wide spot in the road, is Rustwater, Kansas. Prime pickings for Jonas Nightingale.
Are you ready for a miracle?
Part showman,
I hear Satan knocking, but he can't come in.
part salesman,
We don't need no preacher selling us a lot of bunk. I'm not selling bunk, friend. I'm giving it away.
Messiah of the interstate.
Take a whiff at what just walked in.
Special today, steak, no liver, no fish, no ham, no spinach.
Awful lot of nose there, Marva.
No lip.
She wants me.
I think you should stick with your Bible pointers.
It's an empty life, a little meeting.
Section 2. First row. The white shirt, back problem.
And you, sir, come on up on stage and cure your backaches.
You don't care what these people need.
The truck broke down and you're looking to cash in. I give my people a good show. Plenty of music.
All he's doing is selling fairy tales to a bunch of people who thank him for it.
Whoa! I feel a healing coming on.
My sister thinks you're fake.
Well, maybe I am and maybe I'm not. Or get the job done, what difference does it make?
Get the strength in your life.
You believe in miracles, right?
I'd like to hear what your sister has to say on the subject.
I believe in life. What it does to you, and what you do back.
Are you ready for the truth?
I bet the last time you had a man was when Nixon was in office.
No, you're so manipulative.
Manipulators are sneaky. I'm obvious.
A series of alleged miracles have occurred in the town of Rustwater, Kansas.
Alleged. You said it, babe. They say a little faith can work wonders.
Hey, Rev, what about me?
I don't think I got any more healing power left in me tonight.
But once in a while, it just might do the impossible.
Are you worried this time, Jonas, that somebody's actually up there watching?
Paramount Pictures presents Steve Martin, Deborah Winger, Leap of Faith.
Whoa! Am I at White Boy Heaven or what?
So there's a lot of things about this movie that don't work too well, but the stuff that does work is the way the characters are played. The cast in this is very good. Steve Martin, I think, is terrific in this movie. I like Deborah Winger a lot in this. Lolita Davidovich. You also have a young Liam Neeson in here. Lucas Haas. Meatloaf is in this. Philip Seymour Hoffman. MC Gainey. Just these people that you recognize. And you see that the writing is definitely there. There are some very funny moments in this movie. It doesn't work all the way through, unfortunately. I think it's a movie that's just kind of like... There's a lot of elements there that do work, but I think the overall story is kind of cliched. You can kind of tell what's going to happen next, and you can kind of tell how it's going to end too, which is a shame because there's a lot here that really does work here. I think the acting overall makes it work, and there are funny moments in here. But like I said, this is a script that doesn't really surprise you in the end. You feel like you're just watching a good movie that could have been a whole lot better if the script had been a little more creative. And the end result is what you get here. A fun movie overall. Not one I'd watch on repeat. Not one of Steve Martin's best movies, but it's still a fun movie nonetheless. So that's Leap of Faith. Let's go ahead and move on to the last movie that we have for this week, and that is Used People.
You don't have to be so nervous, you know.
I'm not nervous.
If you want to get us a room.
All right.
Do you want to get it now?
Yeah, I'll get it now.
Do you want me to get it?
No, I'll get it.
Why don't you get it?
A trip to Bendel's and an hour at the beauty parlor. You would be surprised how fast a friend could become. I'll bring him home to meet your mother friend. Not moving to Florida. Neither is mother.
Mother's in the room. She can make her own decisions. I'm not moving to Florida.
Oh, blast my sister. She brought a date to her own father's funeral.
What's new, Tiger?
Sigh for a lovely long neck. Rapturously.
A family is like peanut brittle.
What?
It takes a lot of sweetness to hold all the nuts together.
Are you sure this wasn't The Graduate?
Yes!
So right off the bat, you got three top-tier actresses who won Academy Awards. Shirley MacLaine, Kathy Bates, Jessica Tandy. You throw in Marcia Gay Harden in one of her early film roles, and you have Marcello Mastroianni in here. You think you have something special here, and it definitely looks like there is. I haven't seen this movie, so I can't really comment on it too much, but there's so many good, talented people in this movie. You'd think there'd be something there. Judging by this trailer, it does seem a little bit too formulaic, kind of. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Fried Green Tomatoes from last year, and I don't know. Maybe there's something that could be decent. I'm looking at some of the reviews on here. It's got very mixed reviews, like around 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, so doesn't look like there's a whole lot of good reviews on it, but I mean, these people, I mean, this is a good cast overall. I think they can make this material work overall for a decent film. I'm not expecting to go into this looking like it's having it be like one of the great movies, underrated movies, but I think there could be a lot more to this than these reviews let on, so maybe one day I'll definitely give it a shot. So that's pretty much all I got to say about Used People.
20th Century Fox proudly presents a Danny DeVito film.
Brothers, we are gonna march. We are gonna hold together. We are gonna get what we came down here for.
He was capable of anything.
All I'm saying is, there's a lot more there for us. It's right, it's just, it's due us, and it's possible.
He wasn't afraid of anyone.
He said, why shouldn't we take you out in the alley and beat you until you beg for death?
Then when he gives me a cup of coffee, I'll answer his questions.
That's why everyone was afraid of him.
The Justice Department has plenty on you, Mr. Hoffa.
You don't impress me.
He didn't want law. He wanted justice.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Get the union back.
What does that mean?
I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Every conflict there cash comes. The question is, what has been lost and what has been gained?
Presents a Danny DeVito film.
Someday this man's gonna be president of the United States.
Jack Nicholson.
Hey, you gonna organize the cops? Hey, that's easy. Someday I'm gonna organize the crooks.
Danny DeVito.
You could cross over and testify for the government.
You want me to give up Jimmy Hoffa?
Hoffa.
Compared to Danny DeVito's other directorial efforts, Hoffa's kind of the one that's seen as the mixed bag. Not a lot of people really liked it. Some people liked it because of Nicholson's performance, but everybody else thought it was just kind of dragged on too long. Even Nicholson's performance was heavily criticized. I really like this movie a lot. I don't think it's as good as something like The War of the Roses or Throw Mama from the Train, but there's a lot of great things about this movie that I really do like. I like Jack Nicholson's performance in this. I like Danny DeVito's performance in this. This has a great cast that includes John C. Reilly, Robert Prowse, Armand Asante, J.T. Walsh. Just a great cast overall. Visually, the movie looks incredible. Like, this isn't Barry Sonnenfeld who did War of the Roses and Throw Mama from the Train. This is actually Stephen H. Burham who did the cinematography for this, and I think he did a fantastic job with these scenes, because there's so many great scenes in this movie that are really nicely done. They're, like, you could frame some of these as pictures and put them up on your wall at times. They're so good. The music overall is very good too, by David Newman, and you got a great script by David Mamet. I mean, David Mamet usually doesn't turn in really bad material most of the time. There's been some times when, of course, he does, but we'll eventually get to those ones. But I really enjoyed this movie a lot. I think a lot of people kind of give it too much of a bad rap, because honestly, there is a lot more to enjoy about this movie than I would think a lot of people would give it credit for. No, it's not as good as War of the Roses. No, it's not as good as Throw Mama from the Train. But it is still a very good, well-made film from Danny DeVito. I think he did a phenomenal job with this. Very underrated movie. Definitely check this one out if you can. With that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie. We have Bill Paxton, William Sadler, Ice-T, and Ice Cube starring in Walter Hill's Trespass.
Confessing. Remember what he said?
Who stole from Christ? I hit it.
It's gold, isn't it? Solid gold.
I never told. They take it.
This, my friend, is a treasure map to this desolate place.
We're gonna find that gold when it's back in the snow.
Some come to take what is not theirs. Others to settle a score.
Set it up for Saturday. I want to do it someplace way out where nobody is, off the track. What the hell are you doing here?
Nothing, I'm just here.
In this world, when desperate men meet.
We don't want no trouble, we just want my brother back. You come any closer, he's a dead man!
Loyalty is the
stay to die.
You need to stop thinking with your trigger finger and use your brain. You're gonna get my brother killed. I'm thinking seriously, man. Somebody else needs to take over.
And it's every man for himself.
Mr. Police! No, listen, we don't need him. You're crazy.
Now that loot is here, buddy. I want it.
Now you want to know why they didn't signal the police?
Because they found something. Bill Paxton.
Me and McDonald getting in awful deep.
Ice-T.
We're not playing anymore out here. We're past the point of no return.
William Sadler.
Truth is, Vince, I don't see any way we're gonna get out of here quiet.
And Ice Cube.
It's all about survival. It's all about getting yours.
When you cross the line, sometimes there's no way back.
What the hell you white boys doing up here anyway?
Go. Go back, go.
Trespass.
So Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, who you of course know from the Back to the Future movies, actually wrote this years before they did Back to the Future. In fact, they envisioned Walter Hill to direct a movie like this back in the 1970s. And I guess it took them after the success of the Back to the Future series, as well as Zemeckis' name getting bigger and bigger, to finally get this movie made. And I think the end result is actually a pretty good underrated action movie. You got Bill Paxton and William Sadler in here as these two firemen who try to find this treasure, and they get involved, and they end up getting involved with Ice-T and Ice Cube's characters in this battle in this abandoned building. And it's a really good, intense action movie. It's a well done film overall, with a lot of great acting from these great people involved, and it's just a ton of fun too. The tension is very, very good in this. You really don't know how it's going to turn out in the end. It's a very good, well-made film. It sadly didn't do well because I think, well, for one thing, you put it out on Christmas weekend, and movies like this don't usually do very well for the most part, except of course, if it's a big-budget action movie like something from Marvel or DC. Putting this down on Christmas, I think, really dampened this movie's potential at the box office, but I'm glad to see that the movie has found an audience coming after this movie came out, and I think they have seen that this movie actually does have a lot of merit to it. I think it's a very good underrated movie, one of Walter Hill's more underrated movies in a time where his name was kind of dampering down a little bit, but this is still a very good film. If you haven't seen Trespass, I'd say definitely check it out if you can. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Al Pacino in Scent of a Woman.
Hi, Mrs. Rossi. I'm here about the weekend job.
Come on in. They put him in a veteran's home, but he hated it.
Colonel's a gentleman.
A real hero.
This is some guy.
Down deep, the man is a lump of sugar.
Get in here, you idiot. What do you want?
You know what I want.
What do you want here?
I want a job.
A job.
I promise you an easy $300.
I don't get an easy feeling.
How's your skin, son? I like my aides to be presentable.
Well, I've had a few zits. But my roommate, he let me his clinic because he's from Chestnut Hill, and he's got
The History of My Skin by Charles Sims. Get out my dress blues. They're in a garment bag in the closet.
Are we going someplace, Colonel?
What business is that of yours? Don't shrug, you imbecile. I'm blind. Our destination, New York City.
I'm just gonna have to turn right around and come back.
Charlie's having a difficult weekend. How does he look like he's holding up?
Why, he looks fine to me.
Don't think I can't see women, because I can't see women.
Boy, you have a one-track mind.
Women are the essence of life. She's wearing florist. Fleur de rocaille. Ogilvy Sister Soap.
That's amazing.
Well, I'm in the amazing business.
I should be getting back to school.
Ooh. I don't think you're going to make it.
You said that the last shuttle leaves at 10 o'clock.
I lied. All I want is one last tour of the battlefield.
You're just in a slump right now.
How would you know, watching MTV all your life?
Ooh. From Martin Brest, director of Midnight Run and Beverly Hills Cop.
Make your own rules. Be your own board of governors. Pay your own dues. I don't know whether they shoot you or adopt you.
It's not much of a choice, is it, sir?
Al Pacino, Chris O'Donnell, scent of a woman.
What a marvelous place.
I mean, from Martin Brest, the guy who had done comedies such as Beverly Hills Cop and Midnight Run, this was kind of more of his first more of his straighter dramatic movie, and it pays off pretty well. I mean, everybody remembers this movie specifically for Al Pacino. This was the movie where he finally won an Academy Award for Best Actor, rightfully so. I think he was great in this movie. He also there's also a great cast involving Chris O'Donnell, who I think does a very good job keeping up with Pacino in this. You have Philip Seymour Hoffman in here, James Rebhorn, Gabrielle Anwar, who would later be in For Love or Money, and then later on in Burn Notice. Just a great cast overall. The movie looks very visually stunning. And I didn't know, I completely forgot about this. This is a movie that takes place around Thanksgiving. So this is one of those rare Thanksgiving movies that we got that actually are really good. The other one being, of course, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And, yeah, it's a well-made film. It's a great acted film. Pacino shows why he deserved the Oscar for this movie. And, it's a terrific film overall. I think his performance in Glengarry Glen Ross is a little bit better, but he really shows why he deserves to win an Oscar at some point in his career. Because I don't think he ever won one at this point. Did he ever win one at this point? I need to double check this. And I'm going to do this while I'm on here, so let's see. I don't think he did. I know he was nominated for The Godfather, and okay, he did. Okay, it was one. This was the one. So I was right all along. But yeah, Son of a Woman. It's another one that if you haven't seen it already, you really are doing yourself a disservice by not doing it. So anyway, let's move on to the next movie, and that's Kenneth Branagh's Peter's Friends.
They've been friends for years.
I can think of no finer people to see the new year in with than with your good self. I see them once every century. What's all this then? It's called a pot belly, Andrew. We have those in England along with culture.
You never change, do you? What do you mean?
They can look past each other's failings.
I could feel the cellulite building up on me on the plane.
She's fine when she's asleep.
I heard that!
Thank you, darling.
They can forgive each other's mistakes.
You are stuck in a recurring pattern. You know those mice that go around on those little wheels? Imagine one wearing a tight leather skirt.
We can't all have our lives figured out as well as you do.
And they can admit their secret passions.
Peter, fill me with your little babies.
Oh, my God.
But can they survive a weekend in the same house together?
Peter's never been very interested in women.
You slept with Sarah. I know you did.
Oh, my dear, the Archbishop of Canterbury slept with Sarah.
Remember how in love you were with Andrew here? Is there anyone else down there you used to sleep with?
This is ruining our marriage.
I don't think so.
Oh, congratulate me. I seem to have turned Andrew back into an alcoholic. Maggie into an erotomaniac. Sarah into a nun.
You make Mother Teresa look like a hooker.
It's not going exactly as I planned.
This holiday season, get to know Peter and his friends as they get to know each other.
Actually, I no longer sleep with men or women.
All over again.
If I did, I promise you, you'd be right up there on my wish list, together with Michelle Pfeiffer and River Phoenix.
Peter's Friends.
How long have you been married now? Almost 3 years. It's quite a long time for Hollywood, isn't it? Yeah. Did you get some kind of plaque? Yes, we stay together 5 years. I get 3 hair transplants. She gets a new set of breasts. Not so she'll have 4. Yes, but her agent gets one. No, stop it.
So I think this is one of Kenneth Branagh's more underrated movies. This is a movie that not a lot of people really talk about. Kind of came early on in his career after Henry V and Dead Again. Doesn't really get talked a whole lot, but I really enjoyed this movie. I found this movie on TV a couple of years ago, and I really enjoyed it a lot, mostly because I love the chemistry between all these people that are at this house. Hugh Laurie, Kenneth Branagh, Stephen Fry, Emma Thompson, Imelda Staunton. I think they all do a very good job making these characters relatable and really likable. I think a lot of people didn't get it, didn't really enjoy it because it doesn't feel like a typical Kenneth Branagh movie. It feels like an ensemble movie you would see from another director, but I mean, Kenneth Branagh really knows his stuff when he makes movies like this, and really, this movie works pretty well with the material that he has to work with, and this cast that works so well. I mean, it's a great film overall. It's a very underrated movie. If you haven't seen Peter's Friends, definitely check it out, especially if you love seeing these actors in here. I think you really will enjoy this movie, and you'll see it's one of his more underrated movies as a filmmaker. So, that's Peter's Friends. Let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that's Jeremy Irons and Juliette Binoche in Louis Malle's Damage.
I ought to introduce myself. I'm Anna Barton.
I've heard about you.
I'm sure she's very nice.
Stephen Fleming thought he had everything life could offer.
So really, you can kind of figure out what the premise is going to be. Jeremy Irons is this British politician. He has a sexual relationship with his son's soon-to-be fiancée, and he becomes obsessed with her. And like I said, you can kind of tell where it's going to go. But really, that's kind of the fun of this movie, mostly because you enjoy it with the actors involved in this. I think Jeremy Irons gives one of his best performances in here. This is a great cast. It also includes Juliette Binoche and Miranda Richardson. And Louis Malle, who had done My Dinner with Andre, this was I think this was his first movie he made in for an English audience since My Dinner with Andre. I could be wrong on that, because I'm looking at his bibliography here, and let me see. Oh no, I take that back. There are a couple of other ones here, Crackers and Alamo Bay, but this one I think was his more successful one since My Dinner with Andre. And it's a really good movie. It's a very tense thriller. Irons gives a great performance. I think the overall performances in this really work so well. And the twist in here is so good in this movie. It's a very good twist that you don't see coming at all. And it's very well done. It's a very well-made film. Really underrated movie. Definitely check it out if you can. Damage. Great movie by Louis Malle and starring Jeremy Irons. So, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the last movie, and that is Richard Attenborough's Chaplin.
He came to America with nothing but a dream.
You can't be Chaplin. You might be Chaplin after all.
You told him to get changed, remember?
What's he putting on, a suit of armor?
Onto the stage right now! Chaplin!
What do I do?
Cut it. No, wait, hold it. I'll keep it going.
Big reaction. Hold it there.
Overnight, he had Hollywood in his hands.
Damn you, Chaplin. What are you trying to do to me?
And the world at his feet.
The whole world knows about you, Charlie.
Let me direct the next one.
But behind the screen
Charlie!
were the women who wanted him.
Is this what you want? Did you lose your other wives this way?
The scandal that surrounded him.
Don't believe everything you read in the papers. Why not?
And the passions
Still waiting for that other shot, Sid.
that inspired him.
Your message reaches everyone, everywhere, and there's no control over them.
Big heads.
Come on.
From Academy Award-winning director Richard Attenborough, Robert Downey Jr.
He's talking about America!
You are a truly strange fellow, Charles.
Everyone has a wild side, even a legend.
What do we do, Charlie?
Smile.
So here we have another movie that's very underrated, I think. A lot of people didn't really give it the proper respect back then. It was mostly seen as kind of a mixed bag of a movie, but this is another one of those movies that I really love. I really enjoyed this movie a lot. I think this is an absolutely wonderful film directed by Richard Attenborough, who had done other movies like Cry Free. By this point, of course, he's best known for Gandhi, but he did A Chorus Line, Cry Freedom. Very good movies that didn't get the proper respect they deserve, kind of like with this movie. And it just works because of Robert Downey Jr. I think he really shows everybody that he can handle a big role like this. It's just because this was one of his first major film roles where he had the leading role. And, Robert Downey Jr., I think, makes this work so well. I see here that that Richard Attenborough also looked at wanting to get maybe somebody like Robin Williams or Billy Crystal, Jim Carrey for this role, even Tom Cruise, which probably could have worked, but I don't know, man. I think Robert Downey Jr. himself just makes this work so well, and he really shows everybody how good of a performance he can be. I think he's terrific in this film. This has got a great cast overall. You not only have him, you got Marissa Tomei, Moira Kelly, Anthony Hopkins, Dan Aykroyd, Penelope Ann Miller, Kevin Kline, Mila Jovovich, Kevin Dunn, Nancy Travis, Diane Lane, James Woods, David Duchovny. Just a strong cast overall. Visually, the movie looks impressive. I think it does a pretty good job telling the story of Chaplin's life, and at times, yes, it can be a little too formulaic and made for a typical biopic, but it's a well-made film. It's a visually stunning movie. I keep going back to this movie every couple of years because I want to watch this again to see what I think is one of Downey Jr.'s best, strongest performances, and really, it's a terrific film overall. If you haven't seen Chaplin, please do yourself a favor and go check this one out. You will not be disappointed by this one whatsoever. Chaplin, fantastic film, and a great way to end the year off.